Brilliant. So I think we are live. Hello, this is Time to Talk with Cognitive Sports Therapy, and we have the awesome Nicola Ostler in the house today. And we are kind of continuing our theme. We felt that as a group, we felt really strongly that maternal mental health deserved some time. So we are dedicating the whole month on Time to Talk to maternal mental health. And obviously we had Lucy last week talking about breath and how we can kind of use our breath to help our mental health as mothers, new mothers in particular, I guess we're focusing on to help with mental health. But Nicola's here for us to kind of have a bit more of a chat about the physical side and how we can use our kind of fitness. Because Nicola, I mean, your whole business is Buggy Boot Camp. That was the first kind of thing that you did within the world of fitness, isn't it? And I don't know whether in my kind of blog for this month I was writing about how difficult it has been for new mums because those sorts of groups haven't been happening. But you're kind of back out there again now and starting your groups again, aren't you?
And it is absolutely wonderful, and it's so interesting talking to those new mums they've had their pregnancies and their babies during lockdowns. They haven't had any of the typical support that new mums get, and pregnant mums too. Let's not forget, mental health of pregnant women is also really important to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think they were just desperate to get out and see other people and have their babies see other babies, because it was also very isolated. There were pros in that partners were home and they were there available to help and with the feeds and the nights and things. But obviously what was difficult during that whole period was that they had no social interaction. They didn't have the health visitors coming in. They didn't have the weighing clinics. So all the opportunities that new mums would have to connect, seek help, share experience, they just weren't there. So classes, the Buggy Boot Camp outdoor fitness classes have been busier than ever. Yeah. And it's really interesting having that time afterwards and before class talking to them about how they are, and for them to be able to share their experiences with other mums. Because even the NCT groups that people in the UK used for support during that time, they were all online and Zoom, weren't they? Yeah. So and the relationships formed are just so different.
Yeah, I've spoken to quite a few mums, and the words that they're using are things that they've had their maternity leave stolen from them, kind of thing. That kind of they've gone back to work, like it's gone. They've had their baby, had the whole time off, and then gone back to work and didn't get to do all the fun things. And I often think, that's one thing if you've got a baby that's really easy, but the mums that are struggled with babies that are difficult, to be on your own with that must have been absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, and I think even easy babies, it's the incessant sort of day that you have with a baby. It's just the constant feeding, constant changing. There's no let up. And even those of us who had babies in normal times, that kind of, when's the husband coming home? When's the help coming? Just so you knew you had a break. There wasn't so much of that. And just being stuck in the house and perhaps, limited to one walk a day and all that. So challenging.
And you... Sorry, and you were highlighting sort of prenatal kind of that kind of phase as well, because I think again one of the things that happened that was unusual this year was people. I mean, I work with a lot of kind of people who work within the health system, people who were forced to almost take their maternity leave early, so forced away from their kind of working environments earlier. So we're kind of put into isolation to be kept safe, I guess, and the effect that was having on women at that stage to then head into sort of new babies and the kind of all that hits you with, the sort of mental health is really kind of.
And I think the anxiety of being pregnant, I mean, even women who haven't experienced anxiety or depression before, the idea of growing a human, what it's going to do to your life, to your body, how things are going to change. There's so much to think about and anticipate, lots to look forward to, but there's also a lot of worry. And to be perhaps alone with your thoughts a little bit more than normal during that time, that's been really challenging, and not having their usual outlets for feeling better.
Yeah.
So I think that's what these, for example, the outdoor fitness classes give them, is a sense of community, that endorphin buzz they get after moving their body, And even though it sounds counterintuitive, doing exercise does give you energy. So those mums who said, "Oh, I've had 2 hours sleep, I didn't want to come, but I'm so glad I did," it's because just the movement, just the fresh air gets you out of that kind of that low slump often. And I also found that a lot more email communication before people signed up to classes this time than previously, which showed me that there is more anxiety amongst new mums committing to things outside their home. It's always been a case of, how's my baby going to behave? I had people asking me, do I have to leave class if my baby cries? And to me, that's really sad that you would think that could possibly happen. No, you and your baby are so welcome.
Yeah.
People want to see you. You know, we have people in the community walking past classes saying, it's wonderful to see you back. You know, they set an example to other people, to other mums. It's so good for them. The other thing that I think they find really worrying is, you know, just all the unknowns. And there's those mums that get the most from class. So if I talk to them about what they'll gain from it, they'll get the it's time to themselves, but their baby's there. So they don't have to worry about childcare, but it is doing something. Where a lot of baby groups are baby focused, baby yoga, messy play. It's all about the baby. This is more for you, but your baby's there too. And you can interact if you want to. You can interact as much with other people as you want to, or you can focus solely on your baby. The other thing I found was that when I was giving out the health questionnaires, the feedback that I was getting from them was that they hadn't been checked properly at 6 weeks. They didn't feel confident in their body to start. So a lot of backwards and forwards with that. I had several women say, "Oh, having looked at the questionnaire, I have a prolapse. I can't come. I have tummy separation. I can't come." And I'm like, you're exactly the kind of person these classes are designed for. These are for you. It's focused on your postnatal needs. It's focused on being relaxed with your baby, just getting out and getting fresh air, and obviously not throwing yourself into exercise that's going to be unsafe for you. So please come. And then again, those women are the ones who are like, thank you for letting me know that it's okay. I had no one to turn to. There was literally no one to talk to. So I think there is a real place for women's health physiotherapists who specialise in abdominal separation, pelvic floor strength, and classes like Buggy Boot Camp, which are all over the country and all over the world, where their physical health is taken into account. Yes, it's important to get walking, do your pelvic floor pulses, etc. But moving the body as a whole is always going to help you physically and mentally, as we always say, CST.
Because I used to go to one. I lived over in Surrey back in the day, and I used to go to one in Windsor Park actually, and it was a lifeline. You know, it's just that thing, as you say, it's every other thing that you do at that stage is often baby focused, and to have something that is for you, and for it to be an environment where it doesn't matter, as you say, if your baby's crying, and also to be with someone who knows how to adapt anything. You know, if you do have any problems physically, that you know, they have the ability to kind of show you adaptations and things that you can be doing. And just as you say, that sense of community and being around other people who are at the same stage and realizing you're not on your own. Because I think that's often the thing, is that people feel like they're the only people who are maybe finding it hard. You know, there's this expectation that we should all be happy, that we should be loving our babies and enjoying our babies, and actually to realize that there's a lot of women who aren't enjoying that phase of their lives can make a massive difference.
Yeah, and in a group there will be several women who are perhaps on the verge of postnatal depression or suffering from symptoms of it but aren't aware of it. And I think because I've got so much experience, I've taught hundreds of moms over the last sort of 12 years, and I've suffered from postnatal depression myself, I recognise in the communications and their behaviour in class what's going on, and it gives me an opportunity to reach out to them, and it gives them an opportunity to talk about it if they want to, because often, particularly now, these women haven't had the opportunity to talk to anybody. And again, most of the health visitor visits and the GP visits are baby focused. Is your baby okay? Is your baby growing? How are you? I'm okay, I'm tired. You know, the mums don't get the care that they really need, unfortunately, in lots of cases.
Yeah.
And because of lockdown and COVID restrictions, you know, these 6-week checks have been
Even
done online.
less so. Yeah, even less so, isn't it? It's even less contact. And I guess there is something to be said just generally about fitness, physical fitness being important as well, isn't there? And that thing of how much benefit our mental health has if we're physically fit. And I think, you know, again, kind of drawing ourselves back to even before the baby comes, how important it is to be kind of keeping ourselves moving. And I don't know what you did with your pregnancies. I did do pregnancy yoga. That was my kind of time with myself and a little bit of exercise that I did during my pregnancies. But what do you do whenever you were pregnant? What do you recommend women do?
I think going to pregnancy specific classes is a really good idea because you know you're going to get well taken care of. You know that your teacher is a specialist and they know what's suitable for you at each trimester.
Yeah,
They know that if you're suffering from pelvic girdle pain, they'll have an alternative for you to do. If
yeah,
you, whatever your ailment or situation is, they'll be able to incorporate the exercises into class for you. A lot of very fit women think that it's okay just to carry on as before. And in lots of cases it is. And yes, we can all run. Well, not all of us, I shouldn't say that. Many of us, if we were runners, can continue running until we're 6 months pregnant. But should we? As a prenatal
yeah.
health specialist, I'd say no. It's the
I didn't.
constant pressure on the pelvic floor muscles from that weight of that baby bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down. Yes, it might be fine now, might be fine post birth, but the long term implications of repetitive stress on your pelvic floor will have implications further down the line. So it's some women don't want to hear it, and that's fine. You know, they want to carry on as they were, they want the intensity. But as fitness professionals specialising in that client group, we have to share that.
Yeah.
It's then just the same way that we can't allow them to come back to class until after 6 weeks after a vaginal birth or 10 to 12 weeks after a C-section. A lot of women want to do more before that, but we understand as health professionals the implications of not following those guidelines. So
Yeah.
it's important really to have a specialist. So
And I think that and I completely agree with you. And I kind of had to stop running just so my babies was too big, and I also had sort of recurrent miscarriages, so I kind of felt a bit unsafe with it. But there is that thing that I think then women find very difficult, and sometimes that can trigger low mood and depression during pregnancy, is whenever we have expectations of what our pregnancy is going to look like and be like, and if it doesn't match those expectations, that can be a really hard thing to deal with. And similarly, I see a lot of women who have that around the delivery. So again, if they've walked into the delivery expecting, you know, they want to be in a birth pool and they want to have as natural a birth as possible, and then they've ended up with an emergency section for whatever reason, the kind of aftermath psychologically for those sorts of events is massive. So, you know, that what we have as an expectation of our body during pregnancy, if it doesn't live up to that, because as you say, some women have to stop really early because they have problems with their kind of pelvis not doing what it should be doing, and really have to kind of back off on any exercise. I mean, do we have any tips for those women, because they might be watching? How do we
absolutely.
keep ourselves mentally strong when we can't physically do the things that we hoped that we could do?
I think this applies to more than just pregnant women. I think it's women
Yeah,
who, anyone who's been diagnosed with an illness and they all of a sudden
yeah,
can't do what they're used to doing. So we have to again rethink what exercise is. So if exercise to us was 3 HIIT classes a week, a 20-mile run at the weekend, let's rethink what movement and exercise is. So it could be swimming, it could be pregnancy yoga, it could be Pilates, it could be walks. Or any of those things that are gentle. And I think, like I say, pregnancy related, find out who your instructor is, ask about their qualifications. You're absolutely in your right to do that. And if you're confident in their advice, choose them as your instructor. There are so many people out there now who are offering pregnancy exercise classes. And it's finding somebody who you trust and who knows what they're talking about.
yeah.
And to the skill of the instructor is to have a class of people who they can modify exercises for to be inclusive.
Yep. To make them more individual for that individual.
And if you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it. Ask questions. Always. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Kind of mindful of time. We try and keep these nice and short, so they're little nuggets for people to watch. But thank you so much for coming on. And I think you, like me, we just want to say to anybody out there that if you're struggling, make sure you please do get in touch with us. Even if we can't help you, we can maybe signpost you to somebody who can do. And obviously your GP is another really good port of call for any help or support that you're looking for. So thank you for joining me, Nicola. And I will see you again soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.